Thank you for joining me today, Tryston. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure, my name is Tryston Hutchinson. Pro debut coming up. Local fighter.
Yeah. How many fights have you had so far?
I have fought him 5 times.
5 times, all amateur?
Amateur, yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what's your record right now?
4-1.
4-1.
Mm-hmm.
What was that one loss of yours?
I'm Riley Streeter at Front Street Fights. You can watch it on YouTube.
Gotcha. Did he catch you in something?
He did. He caught me in a triangle.
Oh.
Took him down.
Gotcha. Did you go out with that one, or were you able to tap?
I tapped.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I knew he got it, so I just let him have
When
it.
you know, you know.
You just gotta take that pride out of there and give the guy the respect that he gets.
Yeah. No, of course. And what got you into fighting?
So I wrestled for 18 years,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, so I work at Advanced Hitting and Cooling.
Gotcha.
One of our guys named Lowell Irwin, he used to fight at Front Streets and he used to hold the belt.
Oh.
And so right out of high school, I went and tried, college wrestling. Well, I had full ride to Boise State. They took the scholarship away in 2017 when they took the program out.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of, had a few options, nothing I really wanted to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I'm from Idaho, wanted to join the Idaho team kind of a deal.
Gotcha.
So what I ended up doing is I would have joined the Marine Corps. Well, the day of my signing, my dad had a heart attack.
Oh.
And so, I veered away from that because I wanted to stay home, make sure my dad was good, kind of a deal. And went to work for Advanced, where I met Lowell. He asked me, you're a wrestler? I said, well, yeah, and he actually invited me to Team No Excuse.
Oh.
And so from there, the very first day, Johnny saw the potential in me, and after 3 months, I had my very first fight against number 1 in Idaho.
Perfect. And when you were wrestling, did you have any accolades, championships? What did you do during your time in wrestling?
Wrestling wise, I won state. I actually never won state in high school.
Gotcha.
I won state in Greco freestyle, nationals in Greco freestyle, worlds in Greco and freestyle. I was always hurt during high school season. Yeah. Always hurt. It was always adversity coming out from an injury or something. Freshman year, got my ankle rolled over by a heavyweight, fractured that. Sophomore year, I hurt my knee, came back from that. Junior year, made it to the semis in state and cracked a rib.
Jeez.
Senior year, came back, wrestled in the semifinals. At the triple overtime, took 3rd.
That's bad luck with the injuries.
Yeah, but outside of season, man, it was outside of season like freestyle Greco. It was just a whole other world. I think it was just I didn't have as much pressure, so I was just able to kind of let loose a little more. I didn't have that pressure of I got to represent my team. I was able to just represent myself, kind of a deal. I was still on a team, you know what I'm saying? But you wrestle more individually when you freestyle Greco.
Gotcha. So, speaking about the pressure of that, what is the biggest pressure that you feel when going into these fights? Is it the not knowing your opponent as a personal person, or is it just the training behind it? What's the worst part about it?
The worst part about fighting in general, or just going into these fights?
Worst part about fighting in general, and then what is the thing that you worry about the most leading into it?
So the worst, I think personally, everyone's different. The worst part about fighting for me is weight cutting. Because after high school, I told myself I'm done weight cutting.
Yeah.
Well, here I am cutting. And leading up to the fights, I think the most adversity that you can generally put on a fighter is the training, and it also depends on the fighter. For me, it's am I doing enough? Am I getting enough? Am I putting forth the effort? Is my opponent doing more than I am? Yeah. Going into this fight specifically, I know this guy has a lot more access to UFC. He can train at the UFC thing in Vegas. If he lives there. Just a lot of those thoughts come into your mind, but at the same time, you got to remember it's just another fight, just another person. You got to go out there, and as long as I don't, in the end, I just worry about letting myself down more than anything, not my team, because I already know everybody's going to have my back, everyone's going to be there for me, but it's just, in the end, it's am I doing enough for myself? Yeah,
you want to make sure that when you go in there, you perform at your highest capacity always.
Exactly.
And in your past, with all those injuries, you work through that, so you show you could get past that adversity.
Yeah,
so
you have to.
That's really good. And speaking of your opponent, Taha, it looks like one of the big things that he has in his arsenal is his anti-wrestling. A lot of kicks and a lot of knees. Do you have any specific plan to get around that, or are you going to strike with him?
Honestly, I'm just going to take it as it goes. I know he has great jiu-jitsu. Yeah. He's a great jiu-jitsu guy. I know he doesn't really put it out there or whatnot, but if you look at his record, he has won quite a bit of fights by submission.
Yeah.
So that tells me even though he is comfortable with being taken down. So I'm not opposed to taking him down. But at the same time, I'm just kind of playing it by ear because I know he's going to kick. I know he's comfortable with me taking him down. I've been comfortable with taking him down. So I have a game plan in a sense, but at the same time, you kind of have to wing it because when you walk in, it's just a fight. Yeah. So anything can happen in a fight. So yes, the game plan is to hopefully keep it up on the feet. and see what we can get from there. If it does go to the ground, I know I'll have a very, potentially a great opponent on the ground as well.
Perfect.
Hello, everybody. Post-editing Gary here after realizing I didn't include any information about the fight itself. These are the 3 fighters from Team No Excuse who will be competing on the Fusion Fight League card on October 15th at the Ford Idaho Center. For those of you who are in the area that are looking to get tickets, there's still a few available, so be sure to get yours today before it's too late. You can find the link in the description below. For those of you who would rather just watch the pay-per-view, Fight by Triller is hosting this stream for the event, and you could watch it for as little as $5. By signing up for the Fight Plus app, you will receive 2 credits that can be used for not only this event, but other fights like the Bare Knuckle Fighting event. If you'd rather just purchase the event on its own, it's only $20, so that's not too much more. Links for this will also be provided below. Now, let's get back to the interview.
And so what does victory look like for you here? Do you have anything in mind, or is it just you just want to see your hand raised?
Honestly, I just victory, like in the end game, I want to make the UFC. But the main thing is to represent my team, show them what we're made of. I want to make people, like, when they think of Idaho, like SPG has a huge name, kudos to them, but they're also not from Idaho.
Yeah.
Team No Excuse is based from Idaho. And I want everybody to start realizing these smaller teams do have a big impact.
Gotcha.
That's my main goal, is to get us out there, get our name out there, be respectful. Just invite people in to join our family.
Yeah, show them the Team No Excuse way.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. So speaking of being in the UFC, if you do get there, what's going to be your first big purchase?
Buying my mom a house, like paying off her all of her debt, more than likely.
Oh, so for that, that's really commendable. You see a lot of people talk about cars or, buying themselves a house. You want to take care of your family.
Yeah, I already own a house. My mom already owns a house.
You don't want to have to buy like 3 of them.
If it wasn't besides helping my parents out, paying off their debt, it would be, that is my number one. But if, say if something happens in the future where they're gone, something like that, my number one purchase would probably be a big ranch.
Gotcha. Is it going to be up here in Idaho?
It would be, yes. It would probably be up in, I'd say up north more,
Perfect. So where is it that you, where's your hometown? Are you from Idaho?
A little bit, yeah, I was born and raised here. That's why I have 2 Wayne right here.
Perfect.
But yes, I was born and raised here in Idaho, but I'm a little bit from everywhere. I spent most of my time in Middleton.
Okay.
But growing up ranching and farming, I was always around everywhere. I mean, I went to Jordan Valley, right outside of Jordan Valley, ranching out there. Either Nevada, ranched out there, Filer, Idaho, anywhere I could ranch, farm out there, But my hometown, where my family is from, is Middleton. That's where we grew up most of our lives.
Perfect. And so today, you were saying that you had to go out and wrangle some cows. Does this ranch life help you at all for getting into fighting, whether it be conditioning or, wrangling animals?
I would say it does. A lot of people think, they underestimate me because I'm a pretty small dude. I don't really go to the gym too often much. I don't have enough time generally. But they say I have that farm boy strength, my coach, like BB, my coach, the other coach, Johnny's nephew. Yeah. He definitely, he goes and tells everyone, they say he's scrawny. He's like, yeah, he's got farm boy strength, because I can throw people around. Yeah. Pretty good. He just from throwing cows and
I was going to say,
hay and all that stuff.
When you're out there throwing hay and you have to actually hold down a cow, or there was a fighter in the UFC that had to go and shear alpacas. That strength that you get, it's like you don't find people that buck like an animal.
No.
All right. So if you had to choose, are you going to be getting a knockout, submission, or are you just going to be going for a decision in this next fight?
I mean, everybody hopes for a knockout. Yeah. Obviously, everybody does. I've never met a fighter who hasn't. In the back of my head, so even if they don't admit it, they always think it. So obviously, it's in the back of my head. A submission, I think, would be pretty cool. Yeah. But since it is a pro debut, and since he is a very good opponent to versus his debut, I think a decision would I would subdue with that too.
Yeah, but you really you just want to make a statement because
debut. Really I'm here. I'm here to stay.
Gotcha.
Win or lose, I want him to know I was there.
Yeah, and are you looking obviously you're not looking past your opponent at all. Do you have anybody in mind moving forward? Because if you end up winning this one, you're going to be in a good position to continue moving on to maybe even the Contender Series, stuff like that. You have any plans?
If I could make it in the Contender Series, that'd be awesome. It'd be great. That's always in everyone's goal. It is my goal. Yeah. For anyone to plan, not really, because just due to the fact of my thought process, it ends up as I could call somebody out, but they could be on a whole different level or they could be somewhere else. It's just this fight game. There's so many people. It's like a turnover for a job. It's just turnover rates like crazy. There's somebody's there, somebody's not, somebody's hurt. So basically, whoever they want to throw at me, I analyze them, accept the fight, something like that. It's kind of hard to keep that one person in mind. A lot of fighters do until I really have beef with that one fighter or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really the kind of guy to call anybody out.
Until
somebody calls me out. I'm just kind of that more humble fighter that's just like, I'm here to stay.
Gotcha.
You need me, I'm there.
Do you have any fighters that you look at to inspire you when you're fighting, or that you mimic when you are in the ring?
No, not really. It's funny to say, I don't really watch fighting.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
No. I've always been that way ever since I was little, though. Kind of a deal of, I don't really like watching sports, TV.
Gotcha.
I like doing the sport.
You like going out and doing
I like doing the sport and doing the TV stuff you see on TV, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything possible. If not, I'm outdoors doing random stuff.
Gotcha. So, do you, I guess this would take away from this, do you have a least favorite or a favorite fighter just in general, whether it be in the past, today?
Favorite fighter at the moment, it would be Patty.
Patty the Batty?
Yeah, he is funnier than hell. My least favorite, oh man, that's tough. I admire all those guys. This just takes so much commitment,
right. Even the bad guys.
Even the bad guys, yeah. They're all just.
Colby Covington has to be like the most hated fighter.
He is, but he's so talented.
I wouldn't say anything back to him in his face.
No, exactly.
He's a monster.
It's hard to choose a least favorite.
Yeah.
Sure, especially because they're there and I'm not. So.
Gotcha. So, if you were to be making your debut in the UFC, would you want like a big name card, for example, like Ali Quinta when he had to fill in for Khabib 7 to number 1? Would you want a situation like that, or do you want to have the normal progression of you get somebody that's in the 15 and then you work your way up?
I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. I wouldn't mind it. Will I get my butt kicked or not? That would be a great opportunity that people would die for. So,
gotcha.
If somebody threw that in my face, I would not shy away from it.
So it's fair to say that if Dana White gave you a call and was like, I want you to be ready this day, you're going to be there?
I'll be there.
For sure. Would you prefer to go into the Contender Series or the Ultimate Fighter?
Contender Series.
Contender Series. Is there something about the Ultimate Fighter that you just...
No, Ultimate Fighter is great too. If I had the opportunity as well, I would as well.
Gotcha.
Contender Series, they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the same thing. Contender Series doesn't take as long.
That's what I was going to say, is that the tournament aspect. Exactly. And with the Ultimate Fighter, it's 3 months and at 4 fights.
House and, it's fun. You have fun.
Yeah.
Same time, if you want to fast track, you go Contender Series.
Yeah, and that's what it's kind of showing right now, is that there's been all those people that came from the Ultimate Fighter, and Nate Diaz, for example, just ended up leaving, but he never held the championship. We've seen at least 8 people come out of Contender Series that are going to be there. Yeah, and Bo Nickel even, he's about to start up. That's actually an interesting one because he's so prominent in grappling, but he's in such a weird spot that he has 2 wins in the Contender Series, still doesn't have that contract. With your grappling history, are you worried about being in something like that where you're dominating people and they just don't want to fight you?
No, not necessarily. I take that as a compliment.
Take it as a compliment.
I would, because if your grappling is that good to where everyone's just it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose. I take that as a compliment for one because that's baller status. Who can literally who can walk up to anyone and just be like, "What fight?" No.
Yeah.
So even though he hasn't got that contract, it's more likely to come soon. It's just a dude that's standing, and if no one wants to fight him, they're gonna have to put him somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bellator has a lot of wrestlers. Bellator loves wrestlers.
Yep.
So if he ends up there, that would be great for him.
That was my next question, though, is because of Bellator being, I wouldn't say that they're not on the same level as the UFC, but they are the B side to the American MMA.
They are right there with UFC.
Yeah. So which one would you prefer if you can have the choice? Would you be going and working for Dana White or Scott Coker?
Depends on the money.
Oh, the money. Gotcha.
Yeah, the money is where it's at. But UFC, it's just kind of like if you were to join the Marines or the Army.
Yeah.
It's the name.
You want the name brand.
It's the name rather than, if I made it to Bellator and I was just staying in Bellator and never made it to UFC, that's still a big statement too, because a lot of people don't get that chance as well.
Yeah.
But if I can make my way that way, I'll make my way that way.
Gotcha.
If I can go to UFC, I will definitely go to UFC. But it's just, I don't shy away from any, but if I had to choose the first one out the bat, UFC.
Perfect. All right, so this is going to be the final question. Do you have a message for your opponent? If you could talk to him directly, you had to say something to him, what would you say?
Thanks for taking this fight, man. God bless you. Safe travels. Let's leave it all out there and give a great show. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Now that's perfect.